So for the record, if you'll tell me your name, where you were born, and your birth date.
My name is Hezekiah Brown. It's four of us. I'm Hezekiah Brown, 1. My son is Hezekiah Brown, 2. My grandson is Hezekiah Brown, 3. And my great-grandson is Hezekiah Brown, 4.
And tell me, where were you born?
Beg your pardon?
Where were you born?
Silver Creek, Mississippi.
And what's your date of birth?
July the 29th, 1923.
What did your parents do for a living?
Farm. They was farmers. Small-time farmers. My daddy was planting about 5 acres of cotton. And he had a 40-acre farm. And we raised most of our food. They had cows, hogs, what have you. Just a regular farm. We had four children. My oldest brother, he's 7 years older than my sister. She was next. And so he was grown and gone when the 3 of us come along. So we were just more or less three children at home for the most part.
Tell me, how was religion a part of your home?
How was what?
How was religion a part of your home?
How was?
Religion, church.
Religion. Oh, that was a part of our life. We come up going to Sunday school and church, and I still do it. I'm 95 now, but when they don't, I go to Sunday school. Sunday school started at 9 o'clock, and church started at 10. So I go to Sunday school and church about every Sunday, unless it's real cold or rainy. And since I got old, I don't want to get wet.
Can you tell me about the house that you grew up in?
Yeah, we had a house. We were born at home. There was well, we didn't have all the conveniences that you have now. You had a chimney, fireplace, and just a regular country home. And the bathroom, you use a wash tub. And the Italians say that when they announced that there's a new world and the old world. So we lived in the old world. The toilet's on the outside. The new world, the toilet's on the inside. So it was a regular country life for us. And then water at that time, the early days, was hard to come by in the hills. Most people had wells to try to get water. The well that my mother had, it was 435 feet deep. You had to go way down the ground to get it. And water was hard to get. Well, actually, we didn't know nothing about nothing else, but it was just a regular poor people's life.
Was there ever a time, and you talking about what life was like when money was tight?
Yeah, when money was tight, I was born in 23, and I know about hard time. And when we would go to town a lot of times, I'd clean yards for 10 cents. And we had to, you didn't have a whole lot for Christmas, but you could appreciate what little you had. You could smell the oranges all over the house, but you can't smell it no more now. Oranges, apples, candy. And if we got 1 or 2 toys, we were happy to get that. time was hard. And a grown person worked $1 a day. And children, well, I made about 50 cents a day is what the highest they would make. Time was real hard.
What foods do you remember from when you were growing up?
What?
What foods do you remember eating?
What food? Oh, we raised peas, corn. We had a garden. And then one thing about it, the good Lord took care of us during the wintertime. My mother had collard greens in the garden. And you could, I remember a time we used to knock the snow off the collard greens and cook collards. So we had raised food most of the time. And they made provision across the summer for wintertime. My mother used to can a lot of food and stuff. But Daddy raised hogs, killed hogs, coldest day in the wintertime. Killed hogs, you might freeze out there, but you had to be out because Daddy would be sick and you being there to help.
Can you tell me about the community that you grew up in?
The community? There was small country communities. People were closer together than what they are now. That sounds stupid, but it's the truth. If a person kill a hog, they share it with other people. But now if they kill a hog, you don't know it. No, but people were more neighborly than what they are now. And time is not as hard as it was, but the life is dangerous now than what it was then. Old people, a lot of young people don't value life. And that makes a whole lot of difference with old people. You have to be very careful. You're going out and you're coming in with the day's time.
What was going to town for you like when you were young?
Going to town? Well, you didn't have a whole lot of money. If you had a quarter, you were doing fine. I remember when you could buy a dime worth of cheese and they gave you crackers to eat with the cream. But that dime was hard to come by. Because I used to rake the yard and pick up the leaves and put them in bags for 10 and 15 cents. I thought I had a little bit of money then. I did have. Because I remember when you could buy a Coca-Cola for a nickel, but you can't get that no more.
Can you tell me about what school was like for you growing up?
What was what?
What school was like for you?
School was I guess what it had. They didn't have all the equipment and stuff like we had. We didn't have a library in our high school. We didn't have a library, you know. But the teachers worked closely with you. I'm gonna say to you, when we finished the high school, the school poem. We began this race just yesterday. What our goal would be, we could not say. The hills was high and the ditches was wide, but we were told of treasures on the other side. At Lawrence County Training School on a sunny day, we began our test without a word of pay. The teachers and students we cannot forget. The hours of instructions we won't regret. They toiled with us while little we knew, and faithfully helped us until we were through. We hated to leave them too behind, because they were sympathetic, loving, and kind. We hated to leave them because we loved them so, but the hour had come and we had to go. That was our poem, wow. School poem.
That was beautiful. You told me about how you had to walk miles to get to the school bus.
From 8th grade, we went to the little community school, 1 through 7, at Pin Oak. Then Daddy saw fit, he wanted us to go to the high school from 8th grade up. So he talked with the principal of the high school, and they said if we walk down to the school where the school bus runs, we could catch the bus, but it wouldn't make no special trip up and pay for it. The county didn't have school buses for black. They had to be owned by the people who drove the buses. And we had to walk down to the, what's the highway there?
Old Silver
Arms Road, down to the Arms Road. We used to refer to it as the lower road, but you may not know nothing about the lower road. But we used to refer to it as the lower road, but it's the Arms Road. We had to walk down there. We had to be there for the bus. The principal of the school made it clear to our father that your children will have to be at the school route, at the place where you can catch the bus when the bus runs, because they don't wait on you. So we would have to be rain, shine, sleet, or snow. We were there. We didn't miss school. Daddy saw to us going to school. That's the 8th grade through the 12th grade. And for free books, we got free books to 12th grade. I didn't get a free book until I was 12th grade. We had to wrestle to try to buy books going to school. It was rough, but it's not where you're from, but where you're going. And this is the thing that my dad and mama tried to instill in the mind of us. It says there's a better road to travel once you get prepared for it. And I have learned, after my days out of school, when I went in service, about 2 days, I think the second day after I was out of high school, I was in the Army. I was in the Army 3 years. And we had to take basic training in the Army. Black couldn't fight at that time. And so, but I took training in a 37 millimeter Army division in Camp Wheeler, Georgia. And the training was rough, but it taught you how to be a man, how to stand on your own 2 feet. And when we left Georgia and went to Texas, went to 76 millimeter gun, big artillery gun. And I came step forward then to let them know what I could do. And I made sergeant the 3rd month I was in Texas. And I was a sergeant for the whole time I was in service, for the most part, after I made the sergeant. And when we went overseas, we fought as tank destroyers. And we slept on the ground, in the ground, a minute a night. I slept in the ground and on the ground a lot of nights in Texas. And it's kind of good to get the best of it now, because those pains and exposure and stuff we had, it's showing up at the age of 95.
What was it like coming back home after your service in the military?
Well, when I came back home, I was at home for about 3 weeks. I left and went to college. I had never been to Tuskegee, but I got in my car and started riding. I went to Tuskegee on Monday, and I got into school. And Thursday, I went there Monday and Thursday. I was walking around the campus to try to learn something about the campus. And I saw a building there was open. It was a student union building. And the students that was at Tuskegee at that time, 90% of them worked their way through school. And the young lady that was working in the concession stand with us sell ice cream and candy and stuff, I told her, explained to her that I had just started the school, came that Monday, and she was working her way. She told me she was a senior, graduating senior. And so I asked about how to get out to her place, and she told me. And after I asked, I said, what time you get off of work? I said, well, the dormitory would be all right. So she said it would be all right. So I was back there, walked to the dormitory, and I said, tomorrow morning, I said, we can have breakfast together. She said, no. She said, I don't eat breakfast. So I'll eat lunch, so we can have lunch together. So we had lunch together, and thereafter, 3.5 months after that, we married. That was my wife. And so we were married 58 years, 7 months when she passed. We had one son. And our son was born the 5th year we were married. And he finished college when he was 21. And he started working for the federal government in New York.
Can you tell me about your career at teaching and working in Washington County?
Tell me
About your career?
Well, when we came to Washington County, but I was finished after our son was born, my wife couldn't work. Not in that school system, but a new baby. So we came to Mississippi then, started working in Washington County, in Simmons High School. And she taught the 2nd grade. And I was working in high school and she was working in elementary school. And after we both worked there, then I was elected as a principal of school in Indianola, one of the largest elementary schools in Mississippi. I had 72 teachers, 2,200 plus children in grade 1 through 8. And we would have about 200 and some children that finished 8th grade. And the ones that didn't show on the pictures, they wasn't the one that wasn't finishing. But we had, after working with the elementary school, then we went back to the high school, back at Simmons. And I was a counselor then. And I got certified as a national certified counselor. Then I got my BS degree from Tuskegee, got my master's degree from Tennessee State, my education specialist at Delta State. At the time when I got a master's degree, black couldn't go to school in Mississippi to get work on a master's degree. You had to go out of the state to get a master's degree. And so my wife and I, we went to Tennessee. Then we came back to Mississippi to teach. But I could get my specialist at the time. That was back in the 70s. And you could go to school in Mississippi then to get advanced degrees then. And I got my education specialist in 1977.
What was it like raising children in Mississippi?
I was what?
What was it like raising your children in Mississippi?
The children? Well, I was able to work closely with students. As of now, some of the students that I had, when I was in my late 20s, and someone was about as old as I was, in Alabama the same, there was I still hear from some of the ones when I did my practice teaching in Alabama. They write me, they're about old as I am, they're about 90-some years old. And I had a chance to talk with a lot of them. And even now, they would come last year. One came down from Ohio to Mississippi to take me to Tuskegee. I wanted to go down there, so he said he and his wife would take me down. They took me to Tuskegee and brought me back. So I've been very blessed. I got some students that I taught when I first started teaching in Mississippi. They live in California, but they call me 2 and 3 times a year now. They want to know how am I getting along, because they're in their late 80s, and I'm 95.
So you moved back to Lawrence County. When did you move back to Lawrence County after working in Washington County?
In 2003. When I came back and walked up from Washington County to Lawrence County, well, see, nobody was in the Delta but my wife and me. And we had the land here, and so I came back. Then I wanted to try to do as much as I could for Lawrence County, because that's where I got my start from. I started back, I had been on there, like for Christmas, the Christmas was marshal of the parade. I've been on that, and then I did the prayer of the opening of the Veteran Highway. I did the prayer at the opening ceremony there. And I was trying to make myself available for whatever that I can be able, service that I can render. And I have been able to do at the church. I try to do as much as I can for the church. I come up in a church, in the same church, but not the same building. That's where I was baptized, and I try to do as much as I can for the church. When the tornado hit in, was that 2000? The tornado hit. The date. You know, it was the last of August and the 1st of September.
Was that Hurricane Katrina?
Huh?
Was that Hurricane Katrina?
Yeah.
In 2005?
Yeah, 2005. Well, it messed up our church. And I was work with the steeple. Had to go to Alabama to pick it up. And they try to raise money to buy a steeple. But some promised to do one thing, but they didn't exactly do what they say. But we was able to do it. But my wife and I, my wife had just passed though. So, but I was at the house by myself when we had that storm. And the wind was going around the house, and I was there about wondering if I had a double-car garage, and I was afraid that them doors was going in. But the good Lord took care of me, and I'm still here.
How would you say Lawrence County has changed since you were young?
But the opportunity is much better than that. You didn't have the opportunities you have now. I guess we made the best out of what we had and try to build up on that. You know, it's Booker T. Washington say, let down your bucket where you are. And that's what I try to do. Wherever I have ever been, I try to help develop it to make it better than what I found it. You know, you have to begin somewhere. We had a good beginning, hard, but you can remember that. And then I had a superintendent one time. He said to me one time, he said, you know one thing, let me tell you something. He said, I'm a hunter. And he said, I'll be down in all that muck and mud. And said, but down in that mud is a beautiful road. And he said, it don't make no difference where a person from. The main thing is where he going. And I have tried to keep myself busy. Salvation Army, Red Cross, United Way, Boys and Girls Club, to help develop the boys and girls to their best potentials, what they can better do for life, to make the place where they live better place to live, their being there. And that has been my thing. And I have learned, a lot of persons ask you a question a lot of times. You think twice and speak once. A lot of times people like to speak first without giving thought to what's being said. But you listen. You know, I had my wife taught the second grade, and she had a little girl in her class could read almost say any college book that you pick up. And I had her one day reading to some 12th grade students. And she said, and one of them said to me, said, Mr. Brown, said, she don't know what she just finished reading. I said, what you just finished reading? She said, The Art of Good Listening. Most people don't want to listen. They want to tell you something, but they don't want to listen. You be a good listener, you can be a good person. Because you listen to what the person says and analyze what they start talking about, and then you give answers.
That's perfect. Wow. So I was going to ask, what is your last question? What is your best piece of advice?
What is winning?
Your best piece of advice that you would like to share with people who see this 20 or 50 years from now?
My best piece of advice, be a good listener. And don't give that answers time a person to ask a question, but you listen to what's being said and try to analyze what they say and build up on what they're talking about. A lot of time, a person talk when they're supposed to be listening. They're not good listeners. And if you can be a good listener, you can be a good learner.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. This was wonderful. It's been wonderful getting to learn about you and your life story. You've done so much.
Quite welcome.
Would you mind if we show your awards on the camera? Okay.
Well, I brought along with me, these are my grandchildren. I feel very proud of them. They've had a chance to go to school overseas. They went to school in Dubai. They lived there 4 years. And that's the girl and the boy. He's 16 years old. He turned 16 in August. He 11th grade, and he had a chance to play in the band. He had got a letter from Georgia Tech to come down to Georgia Tech for an interview down there. The school where he going to in South Carolina, some of his instructors, they finished high school where he going to school now, and they on the staff at Georgia Tech. So they invited him down to Georgia Tech. He's a very good student. The two students there, they are 98 to 100 in school average in school, and they're very active. Oh, I got him, but that's the girl that's correct. And whatever he's in, she like he brought a saxophone, and she brought a clarinet. So they're very good students. And this is from Tuskegee, where they give an award. It's where you have to do a lot of participation. They just don't pass these out. But they want you to help some of the students that don't have money enough to help go to school. My wife and I, we gave to the school when we were making $200 a month. $200 a month teaching school. Now this was given by World War II for World War II veterans. They go to the hospital in Jackson. That's an award there. Now this was at my class reunion. This was at my class reunion in 65 years out of college. And they wanted to know from me. They wrote me a letter and wanted me to know how I've been spending that years, 65 years away from college. And I wrote up and turned it in. And I was selected I got the second highest award at the Tuskegee has to offer. This is the Leadership Award. And they have, it was about, I guess about 2,000 people at this meeting that we was at Tuskegee. And this award that they presented to me, it's got my name on there, Hezekiah Brown, Booker T. Washington Leadership, Founders Day Reunion, Golden Days and the Golden Days and the Crimson Nights, the Golden Tripper.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brown.